University Registrar, the bursar, the University Librarian, the Dean, and other eminent personalities present. It is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to this historic event, the second College of Environmental Sciences International Conference, themed The Future of Infrastructure Planning, Design, and Building for Growth. This theme is addressing the debt of infrastructure in our environment, the importance of infrastructure in the functionality of an environment cannot be overemphasized. As an established College of Environmental Sciences, we deem it necessary to hold a conference where the intelligentsia community can discuss this global problem. This year's conference is consolidating on the first COLEMS International Conference themed Innovation, Sustainability, and Technological Advancement in Africa Built Environment. These themes reflect our deep commitment to sustainable living, which stand at the heart of our college guiding philosophy. It is essential that humanity strives to live responsibly towards today without compromising the well-being of future generations. With this in mind, the conference committee has carefully curated sub-themes that explore various dimensions of sustainable living. This international conference promises to be intellectually stimulating with a diverse selection of high-quality papers, chosen through rigorous review process. These papers will complement and expand our insights from our distinguished keynote speakers, Professor Kolabo Oshoba-Ileka, and our lead paper presenters, Professor Bankole Osita Awuzie and Dr. Obus, three esteemed scholars with extensive expertise in both academia and industry. We are using this opportunity to appreciate the management of Bells University of Technology, Ota, led by Professor Jeremiah Oludele of Jedron, for providing an enabling environment that nurtures holistic prowess and output. Your sacrifices have placed this citadel of higher learning on an enviable pedestal. God's blessing we pray for you, sir. To our conference participants, welcome to the historic city of Ota. We wish you fruitful deliberations and the best of time while here. Also, we are reiterating our promise that the selected conference papers shall be published in special edition of our college journal. I, on behalf of our local organizing committee of this conference, sincerely welcome you to Bells University of Technology, Ota, the first and only private university of technology in Nigeria. Thank you.
A round of applause for Dr. Lee for that wonderful welcome speech. And sincerely, like my Oga mentioned when he was leading the program, that behind every working event, there must have been a lot of people who must have put effort in place. And sincerely, I appreciate the organizing committee again, the members of the College of Environmental Sciences for putting beautiful conference together. So I have the permission to invite the host, and by host I'm referring to no other person than our Dean of College of Environmental Sciences, in person of Dr. Atinukan Olukan. A round of applause for her as she comes forward for our welcome address.
Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, respected scholars, students, and honored participants. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor and the principal officers of the Grace Institution, it is with immense joy and honor that I welcome you all to the second International Conference of the College of Environmental Sciences, holding today, the 8th of July, 2025. This conference is much more than an academic gathering. It is a vibrant platform for innovation, collaboration, and strategic thinking across the disciplines of the built environment. The theme of this year's conference, which is titled The Future of Infrastructure, Planning, Design, and Building for Growth, speaks powerfully to the urgent challenges and opportunities before us in shaping resilient, inclusive, and further ready environments. As we all know, infrastructure and environmental planning are deeply connected to human welfare, economic stability, and ecological sustainability. Thus, this theme resonates far beyond academia. It is a call for action for governments, industries, and communities to rethink the way we design and build for the collective good of humanity. At the College of Environmental Sciences, we are committed to producing knowledge and solutions that address this global imperative. Our 6 departments, Department of Architecture, Building Technology, Estate Management, Quantity Surveying, Surveying and Geoinformatics, and Urban and Regional Planning, are at the forefront of this mission. I am pleased to report notable academic achievements in the college. Number 1, postgraduate programs are now fully operational in the Department of Architecture, Estate Management, and Urban and Regional Planning, offering postgraduate diploma, master's, and doctoral degrees. The Department of Surveying and Geoinformatics has completed the resource verification, while the Department of Building Technology is currently awaiting verification following necessary payments by the university. Thirdly, we are expanding our undergraduate offerings with the proposed Bachelor of Science in Environmental Management, which will temporarily be housed within the Department of Urban and Regional Planning. These milestones affirm our commitment to excellence and position the college as a key driver of environmental education, innovation, and professional development. We are also proud of our students, whose achievements bring great honor to the college and to the university. Firstly, in June 2025, students from the Department of Surveying and Geoinformatics secured 3rd place in the hydrographic research competition during the World Hydrographic Day celebration, making those the University of Technology the only private university among the top 3. I think it was a lot. In April 2025, students from the Department of Estate Management played third out of 51 higher institutions in a national quiz organized by the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. In the late 2024, Department of Urban and Regional Planning earned 2nd place in a state-level debate competition organized by the Nigerian Institution of Town Planners, Ogun State Chapter. Thank you very much. These accomplishments reflect not only the dedication of the students and faculty, but also the quality of education and mentorship at Bells University of Technology. They elevate our national and international reputation and affirm our place as a center of excellence. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the University Management Team, ably led by our Vice Chancellor, Professor Jeremiah Ojejiro, for their constant and unwavering support, encouragement, and belief in the college leadership continues to create the enabling environment for academic growth and innovation. To our distinguished critical speaker, Professor Kolapo Olushola Eleka, my former teacher, he taught me a building course when I was in 200 level at Obafemi Awolowo University. Thank you very much, sir. The knowledge you invited in us is really critical. Thank you, sir. We look forward to your insights, which we believe will inspire and challenge us towards higher levels of inquiry and impact. We are equally grateful to our lead paper presenters, Professor Bankole Osita Awuze of the University of Johannesburg, South Africa, and Dr. Opus Ejuomu of the University of Manchester, United Kingdom. Your contributions bring global perspectives that enrich this conference and stimulate meaningful cross-border exchange. To our team of panelists, paper presenters, and all contributors, we thank you for your time, research, and thoughtful engagement. You are the heart of this academic gathering. And to the organizing committee, ably led by Dr. Oyedeji, thank you for your dedication, tireless efforts, and professional coordination. This event would not have been possible without your planning and teamwork. As we begin this journey together, I encourage all participants to engage deeply, share openly, and connect meaningfully. Let us use this opportunity to advance knowledge, share practice, and influence the future of the built environment for the benefit of humanity. I wish you all a fruitful, enlightening, and inspiring conference experience. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Let's make that louder, bigger for the Dean of the College of Environmental Sciences. Thank you very much for that wonderful address. We would want to acknowledge the presence of the Bossa in our midst. While the Dean was giving her welcome address, he walked in gorgeously. Please, can we appreciate the presence of the Bossa? Mr. Shino Adepoju, Mr. Welcome, sir. And then also, I noticed while the speech was going on, or shortly before that time, the Dean of the College of Environmental Sciences, so College of Engineering. Permit me to say environmental science because we are the two closest college, and we are like 5 and 6. If you know very well, engineering and colleges, we are just together. We have the same numbers, we have the same effect, the same everything. Please permit me to welcome Professor Sunday Ojo Payomi in our midst. You're welcome, sir. I'm sure that at the right time, all the deans present here and all the dignitaries present here, we want to give their goodwill messages. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remember one of the words, or rather the theory of one of the greatest scientists, I think Isaac Newton, who says that a body will continue in its state of uniform rest or motion except when acted upon by an external force. How many of us know that Bells University has been in one, and then suddenly we started speeding? And that is because an external force, a very powerful force, started moving Bells University. I'm saying this because I'm going to be inviting the Vice Chancellor, who I consider, or we all consider, as one of the very, very powerful force that has helped in the movement and the progress we have seen in the university. Ladies and gentlemen, please, I have the honor to welcome the Vice Chancellor, Professor Jeremiah Onjedero, for his welcome address. He is the host, the chief host of this event, and is here ably represented by the Dean of College of Natural Sciences, Professor Atase. Please, can we give a standing ovation and a clap of it as we welcome the Vice Chancellor for his address. Now, I'm not sure if I'm to say for his, her address. You're welcome.
Thank you. My name is Professor Robert Nkechi, Dean College of Natural and Applied Sciences. I'm here this morning to represent the Vice Chancellor of this great institution, Professor Jeremiah Oludele Ojedino, who is unavoidably absent, but on the national assignment. Good morning, everyone. Opening remarks. Everything you're going to hear, you will hear my voice, but what I'm going to read out to you is as written by the Vice Chancellor himself. Opening remarks by the Vice Chancellor, Professor Jeremiah Oludele Ojedino, Harry Koren, FNIAE, FNSE, IION, at the 2025 International Conference of the College of Environmental Sciences Codex, with the theme, The Future of Infrastructure, Planning, Design, and Building for Growth, held on Tuesday and Wednesday, 8 to 9, July 2025, at the BUF International Conference Hall, Bells University of Technology at Oyo State. All protocols have been established, I want to believe, by the chairman of the ceremony. So I welcome you all on behalf of the hierarchy of the university management, staff and students of the Bells University of Technology Ota. And with great pleasure, I welcome you all to the 2025 International Conference of the College of Environmental Sciences, Codex, Bells University of Technology, Ota, Nigeria. Historical. Bells University of Technology. Some 20 years ago, our founding fathers took an intentional and positive step in establishing Bells University of Technology, Ota, as the first private university of technology in Nigeria. This bold move is reverberating positively across Africa, and it has provided a strong platform on which we stand today to educate ourselves. As we're in the period of celebrating our 20th anniversary, it is heartwarming that Bells University of Technology, Ota, has witnessed remarkable landmarks, developments, and achievements along the way. For this, we acknowledge the vision of the founding fathers for believing in and investing in the Nigerian education sector. The university presently has 5 colleges, namely Natural and Applied Sciences Scholars, Management Sciences Scholars, Engineering College, Environmental Sciences College, and Food, Agricultural Science and Technology Co-Fast. Each one of these colleges comprises of departments running programs of immense benefits to the Nigerian society and the world at large. This is a few further affirmation that at Bells Tech we run with a vision. And what is this vision? To be a world-renowned university that is committed to the development and transformation of society through environmental friendly technology and other innovations. It is noteworthy, therefore, that Bells University of Technology, Ota, is blazing the frontiers of research and knowledge with our commendable faculty teams and support staff who are highly committed to ensuring that only the best is good for Bells. This has resulted in full accreditation status of our programs by both the National Universities Commission NUC and relevant professional bodies, among others. As commendable as these are, I wish to state that the university will not rest on its laurels to ensure that we provide all necessary venues, platforms, and resources to appreciate and encourage our faculties to do more. Recently, we were accorded full consortium membership of the Educative Collaborative with active participation in the technical committee as well as the strategic committee. We are forging ahead with various other active strategic collaborations as well as linkages to advance the frontiers of knowledge. Today's event. The theme of this CODEX International Conference, the future of infrastructure, planning, design, and building for growth, is apt for this time. This is because of the need for an intentional and positive shift towards more sustainable and resilient infrastructure, leveraging digital technologies like BIM and GIS, and adopting innovative construction methods like modern methods of construction, effective stakeholder engagement, robust risk management, cost control, approaches to green spaces, renewable energy, and eco-friendly materials, among many others, are also crucial, not just for successful project delivery, but for growth. I must state that the sub-themes of this international conference cover such exciting gamut that I am assured that the outcomes thereof will resonate loud and wide and for a long time to come. In closing, while commending the active Dean College, Dr. Atinuke Orekon, and her planning committee for this laudable international conference, I wish to aptly appreciate the keynote speaker, Professor Kolapo Olushola Eleka of the Department of Building, Osun State University of Technology, for identifying with us. We sincerely hope that this will mark the beginning of closer collaborations between us. Also, I wish to thank the lead paper presenter, our own Dr. Obut, a gentleman of the University of Manchester. This is some kind of homecoming for you, and I really look forward to more of this. To our dear participants, thank you for coming, and I wish you all a successful conference here in Bells University, where only the best is good for Bells. God bless.
A round of applause for Professor Akase for the speech was delivered on behalf of the Vice Chancellor of this university. Thank you very much, ma'am. Indeed, we are blessed in this university. You know, the other time, the MC was trying to analyze where we were and where we are now in this university. And for some of us who have been here for some time, you will agree with me that we are far from where we used to be. A round of applause for Vice Chancellor again. Now, I'm going to paint a picture or give us illustration. Okay, for those of us who love football, you understand that when you hire a manager for a team, it is expected of that manager to want to go out and look for players that will help the team, so that at the end of the day, your team will not be another Arsenal. You want to win trophies and whatever you have. Sorry, the Arsenal, I'm an Arsenal fan too. Now, what I'm driving at is this. When the Vice Chancellor, Professor Jediron, got to this school, he confided in some people that he's here to give his best, but from all factors, he's already scared. But today, I can tell you that all of us in this university today are proud of his achievement. We are proud of how far we have come as a university. I know today is about College of Environmental Sciences, but I want to, I know some universities didn't pay me for this advert, but in the course of trying to introduce some people, I want to make reference to some of the universities that we also know or that we have attended in the past. There's somebody here that I will call for a goodwill message. He's a father, I don't know. In those days, there is a university in Oyo State, somewhere in Ogbomoso. I don't want to do advert for any school here. And that university is a university of technology. But at some point, they saw the need to introduce some courses that might not necessarily relate with technology. But some brilliant minds in those days, I will mention the goodwill person, and I'll mention some other names so you will know that I know him very well. Some brilliant minds, they sat together and thought of what can we do. We needed to introduce some courses, but they don't relate with technology. They said, okay, if you must introduce accounting in this school, we'll have technology. So that school is about the first university to offer accounting technology in Nigeria. And you want to go and study accounting, you see technology with it, your mind will first jump. And let me now tell you another funny thing about that course is that you must pass physics and chemistry 001 before you study the accounting. So if your background is in commerce, economics and accounting, you know that you have a problem, a challenge to face before you get to the 200 level. So I am not surprised that our Vice Chancellor was able to gather together these brilliant minds, brilliant heads to ensure that the university moves forward. And that is the reason why today you can beat our chest that we are far from where we used to be. I have the singular honor to invite Professor Shomiwa for his goodwill message. He's one of those brilliant minds that put up the College of Management Sciences for Ladoke Akintola University then, and the likes of Professor Omoshiki and some of them. But today we are happy to have him here. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Let me equally have. It is not only physics and chemistry you're going to pass. Engineering, mathematics is there. And that is Professor Engineer Koko. You have to sweat it out before you can pass. You know you can pass it. Yeah. The Vice Chancellor, every representative of the Dean, Thomas, Professor Tassi, the Bossa, the University of Liberia, and of course the guest speaker and the host. Right, I was not put out my colleague, the Dean of Engineering, maybe my brother from another mother. And of course, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let me join the host as well as the chief host in welcoming all of you to this great conference, international conference on the future of infrastructure, planning, growth, and building for growth. Right. I have the privilege to just give a goodwill message, which I'm not going to stay on, so that I'm not staying our stay here. I want to say emphatically that more or less I belong to this school of thought of planning, because my background is a planner. Before I changed totally to logistics, right? So I'm still affiliated and I belong to planning. And incidentally, my wife is a chartered planner. So we discuss all these things at home. She's currently the Deputy Director of Planning Unit, Tertiary and University of Education. Right, the distinguished participant, as we explore innovative solutions, best practices, and future trends in infrastructure development and planning, I'm confident our collective efforts will shape a more sustainable, resilient, and of course, a prosperous future. I want to sincerely wish you all for fruitful discussion, meaningful connections, and a successful conference. And let's work together to build stronger, more livable community for generations to come. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
A round of applause for him once again. I also have the singular honor to invite somebody who is important to us, somebody who has inspired us, somebody who has motivated us, somebody who has encouraged us a lot in this university. Permit me to say the person is young and getting it when it comes to academics, and today is one of the topmost researchers globally. A round of applause for the person I'm about to call. I have the honor to invite the Dean of College of Engineering, the person of Professor Fayomi, for his good message.
I'm not as tall as Professor, the Dean of Commerce. So let me read this thing. The Vice Chancellor, sir, ably represented by our one and only Dean. Thank you very much for sitting down on the hall seat this morning. Thank you very much. The guest speaker for today, Prof. Thank you for finding it worthy to be here to have values to us. We are grateful for your time. The boss of this university, and that you are my good friend and an answer. Every time, anywhere I find myself, I always tell you and always an answer. So that's coming. Then my own decision, Dave, thank you. Thank you for giving us these good things to behold. I told myself, I left the PG board this morning. They are doing defense now. I said, no, I will be here. So thank you. That is how much co-eds is as valuable in our hands. Thank you for doing what you do as co-eds. We appreciate it. To our students and staff, thank you very much for being here. On behalf of the College of Engineering, we are represented. I want to sincerely welcome everyone to this gathering, especially we call it a seminar and a conference. Anytime there is a conference, something always surges in my heart. That means a season for us to dissect and also gain something that are valuable to us. I'm so confident, especially when it comes to the issue of environmental issues, that things unique will come up and everyone will learn from it. Sincerely speaking, I will be part of this conference because I'm expecting that most of these people that will come in there will also be used to publish in a good reputable conference proceedings. I'll be willing to assist and come with, to interact with the organizer, Professor Oyedeji, so I can see how we can get light from it and also give them directions on how we can publish it, especially in schools. It is possible. With engineering, I've done it constantly. Then let's see how we can also have this one to what we have. It's a collective vision, it's a collective dream, it's a collective goal, so that other staff can also be motivated. And next year, you will see that many more will be there. So I want to appreciate you, man, for taking your time out, especially the committee for organizing this great one. The topic is a unique one, and we're expecting more of them. On behalf of the College of Engineering and myself, we wish you a great conference and a great deliberation that prosper. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much. Because of our time, we will quickly take the last goodwill message, and I believe it's going to be very brief. We have in our midst somebody very eminent, the former Commissioner of Physical Planning and Urban Development in Lagos State, and also the former President of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners. He's here in our midst. We have Mr. Toyi Ayinde. I know he wants to say one or two things
before we proceed. Please, a round of applause. If you do that, you will be faster, and then you will make your speech very brief as well. You're welcome, sir.
The Vice Chancellor, ably represented, the Dean of the School of Environmental Sciences, the keynote speaker, other principal officers here present, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I must say that I'm humbled, because I never expected I would be invited to say something. But be that as it may, this is a conference, and I believe that there are three things that are common with conferences. It gives us an opportunity to unlearn, it gives us an opportunity to learn, and gives us an opportunity to relearn. Unlearn, because there are certain things that have been programmed into our mindset over the years, and which new knowledge comes to confront. That we must be humble enough to accept, and it takes a teachable spirit to be able to accept new knowledge. We must learn new things from this conference, and there are certain things that we have known before, but they come to us again as a reminder. We relearn them. So in doing all of this, I want to wish us all a successful conference and congratulate the Dean of the School of Environmental Sciences and her team for being able to put this together. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much. So we don't get distracted with some other things before the main address coming from the keynote speaker, who is very, very eager and waiting to deliver, because I know he has a lot to say as it concerns the future of infrastructure and development planning in the present world. What I mean by the present world, where the environment is very, very unpredictable. So we would want to quickly, therefore, welcome the acting head of the Department of Building Department, who will take the citation of our keynote speaker. We would invite, I have the single honor to invite Dr. Innocent Osusuigbo, who is going to take the citation of the keynote speaker. Please, can we give a round of applause as we invite Dr. Innocent.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Every other protocol duly observed. This day I'm honored to be the person to read the citation of keynote speaker, Professor Kola Olushola Eleka. So honored. May I invite the keynote speaker to stand and as welcome near me, so that I will read his Can we put our hands together, please? Let's clap for him sharing now. Thank you, sir. Let's start by looking at his early life and education. Professor Kola Olushola Eleka was born 7 years ago into the respected Eleka family of Ikere, Ekiti State, to late Father Joshua Olushola Ojo Eleka and Deaconess Eunice Olushola Ojo Eleka. A bright student from the start, he completed his primary and secondary education in Ikere, consistently emerging as the best student. He went on to study building in Obafemi Awolowo University, OAU, Ileife, where he graduated in 1989 as the best student in his class. Professor
Professor Olushola earned an MSc in Construction Technology from the University of Lagos in 1993 and later returned to OAU to obtain a PhD in building structures in 2005, the first awarded in that field by the department. Now his academic and professional career. Professor Olushola Eleka began his academic career as a graduate assistant at OAU in 1990 and rose to become a professor of building on October 1st, 2012. Over 3 decades, he has distinguished himself in teaching, research, and mentorship in building structures and construction technology. His teaching has spanned several universities, including Bells University, Ota, and he is currently serves at Osun State University, Osogbo. He also offers voluntary teaching services at Bamidele Olumielu University of Education, Science and Technology, Ikere. His area of expertise includes structural mechanics, construction material, and building production management. His research contributions have led to over 70 peer-reviewed publications. Between 2005 and 2014 alone, he supervised 18 postgraduate research projects, including 5 PhDs. Many of his mentees now occupy senior academic and professional positions across Nigeria and beyond. Professor Olushola Eleka is deeply committed to character building and leadership development, often emphasizing values such as integrity, diligence, and loyalty among his students. Now, public service of Professor Olushola. In addition to his academic accomplishments, Professor Olushola Eleka served as Deputy Governor of Ekiti State from 2014 to 2018. During his tenure, the state saw a precedent improvement in education. Ekiti ranked first in the Lagos SSCE for 3 consecutive years, from 2016 to 2018, and WAEC pass rate score to over 70% by 2017. His leadership also enabled students from Ekiti to achieve global and national recognition. The state won the best first-timer performance at an international debate in Singapore. Emerged best in the Young Nigerian Scientist Presidential Award and claimed top honor at the Junior Engineers, Technologists, and Scientists competition in 2017. In 2018, he was the gubernatorial candidate of the People Democratic Party, PDP, in Ekiti State. Now, the professional services of Professor Olushola. Professor Olushola Eleka is a registered builder and a long-standing member of the Nigerian Institute of Building, NIUB, where he has served in various key roles, including chapter chairman, Osun State Registrar, and Research and Development Secretary. Under his leadership, Osun State hosted its first NIUB National Conference. Under his leadership, as said, Osun State hosted its first NIUB National Conference in 2008, a milestone that also led to the professional advancement of many young builders. Now, this very part, the last part, I love this part, the personal life and recognition of Professor Olushola. Professor Lushala is a dedicated Christian and ordained pastor in the Christ Apostolic Church. Professor Lushala Eleka's life is marked by service, faith, and humanity. He has received over 50 awards in recognition of his contribution to education, professional development, and leadership. He is also married to a lady evangelist, Mrs. Janet Olufemi Olushola Eleka, also a minister in the Christ Apostolic Church, and they are blessed with 3 children. Conclusion, Professor Kola Olushola Eleka remains a shining example of academic excellence, ethical leadership, and dedicated public service. He is widely admired as a teacher, mentor, statesman, and builder of people and institutions. Please let's welcome Professor Olushola Eleka. Thank you, welcome.
Who is ably represented here today by our own dear Professor Atasi, the Dean of College of Natural Sciences. I want to thank you for driving this great vision. Bells University of Technology is a great vision. It's not just a university, but it's a great vision, and it is distinct. I want to say congratulations. I also want to duly acknowledge the presence of the principal officers that are here, the university librarian, Dr. Yusuf, the university bursar. I think I need to check your name. Don't mind me, I'm already used to Dr. Yusuf sitting beside her. The university bursar, Mr. Adepoju. Thank you very much. And the Dean, College of Environmental Sciences, Dr. Atinuke Orekan. Other deans that are present here, I think the Dean of College of Engineering, I think the other Dean has just left, of Management Sciences, you are duly recognized. The Chairman, LOC, my colleagues that are here, my distinguished students that are here, and all the other participants. Let me also duly recognize, sorry, I think I've missed the protocol, the former commissioner for, I think, physical planning, am I right? You are very much welcome, Your Honor. God bless you. Well, before I go into this address, I want to take out some statements from the anthem of Bells University of Technology. Part of the chorus says, share the dream, tread the path, be light bearers of a prosperous nation, brace up, celebrate the prominence of science, glow, you offspring of vision. We are here today, by the grace of God, to pass the same message across. And what is the message? That there is a future, a very bright one, for infrastructure planning, design, and building that will eventually result to envisage growth for this nation. We believe that at the end of this conference, we are going to have a dream to share in this regard. And we would have bring up a path for us to tread, especially within the built environment, a very enviable path. And I believe every participant here will be willing to be the light bearers of this good news that will result to a prosperous nation. Are you going to be counted among? I am going to be counted among. I have a vision to share. I believe you also have one. And that is what we know best University of Technology for. God bless you. I think the organizers already have a they put in place advanced infrastructure, and that's what distributed developed nations. And infrastructure supporting social capital, human development, and environmental stability. That planning gave the Republic the tools to build efficiently and equitably. Also, there was emphasis on growth. In other words, in Singapore, they learned to build for long-term, anticipating population growth, climate change, and economic transformation. As we are going through how Singapore evolved, I want us to be taking a look at the Nigerian situation and begin to see where we are missing it, or where we have missed it and where we are still missing it. Number 3, Singapore became smart cities pioneer. In other words, they embraced smart technologies early, integrating sensors, data and artificial intelligence into infrastructure systems, and they embraced sustainability first. Green buildings, water cycling, vertical gardens. These are examples of what show how design and sustainability can coexist in high-density urban areas. In other words, in Singapore, they had a commitment to building not just for today, but for future generations. And that is the goal of sustainability. And ask the question, can we do the same and more as we look forward to a bright future of infrastructure, planning, design, and building for growth in Nigeria? I want to say yes. Let's look at current realities in Nigeria. Taking a look at the infrastructure gap. Nigeria as a nation is characterized by a large population and, of course, a sizable economy. Nigeria is one of Africa's powerhouses. We pride ourselves as the leader in the West African bloc and one of the very prominent nations within the African Union. This strategic leadership role is expected of this country, and its ambitious goal of becoming one of the top 20 global economies definitely are linked to quality and capacity of its infrastructure. This has actually cast immense pressure on the country to meet baseline infrastructural requirements and bridge the substantial infrastructural gap. Unfortunately, there is a huge infrastructural deficit in the country, and it permeates all sectors, whether transport, energy, water, housing, information and communication technology sector. And this has reduced productivity, diminished quality of life, and hinder sustainable development. In other words, what we are saying is this: Nigeria faces a substantial infrastructure gap across all sectors, whether transport, energy, water, housing, and ICT. Presently, infrastructure stock within the country is only about 30% of GDP, which is far below the 70% target set for 2043. That is in accordance with the National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan, which was revised, that was put in place in 2014, but was revised to span between 2020 to 2043. And he said, like rightly said there, is to boost infrastructure stock to 70% by 2043. But presently, infrastructure stock in Nigeria is only about 30%. That means there is a gap. Now, to achieve all these goals of this Nigeria National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan, Nigeria has committed billions of dollars and is still committing billions of dollars annually . We want to answer 3 questions. How has infrastructure evolved in the Nigerian space? Number 2, what are the infrastructural challenges in Nigeria, some of which have been mentioned? Number 3, how can emerging technologies be used to drive infrastructural development for the achievement of sustainability and resilience? Historical development of infrastructure in Nigeria. We are going to take a look at viewing these through 3 lenses: the colonial era, the post-independence era, and the democratic era. Within the colonial era, infrastructure was basically put in place for resource extraction, focusing on railways, ports, and basic utilities like basic roads, simple water works, and so on and so forth. However, the goal is not to develop the nation. The goal is to satisfy the yearnings of the colonial era is that the infrastructural developments during this period were largely exploitative and unevenly distributed, focusing on areas with economic potential for the colonizers. The quality was often basic, and the maintenance was geared towards continuous extraction rather than for long-term national development. Definitely such we experienced the oil boom. The revenues from oil were used to fund large-scale projects. However, and unfortunately, corruption and poor maintenance undermined their progress. In other words, during this period, despite our apparent prosperity brought by oil wealth, the ambitious plans of the infrastructural development in this era faltered. simply means an over-reliance on oil revenues, which unfortunately led to the neglect of other vital sectors, particularly agriculture. This prevented the development of a more stable, diversified economic base, crucial for sustained infrastructure development. Political instability, characterized by frequent military coups and abrupt transitions, also severely disrupted long-term infrastructural planning and project continuity in Nigeria during this period. A very good example of that is the Metro Line project in Lagos, which was aborted by military government, squandering prior investments. And to compound all these issues was a culture of persistent inadequate maintenance, which today we are still struggling with. And this has resulted in the rapid deterioration of many existing infrastructures, effectively negating initial investment. No wonder buildings keep collapsing every day. Or furthermore, unchecked population growth and accelerating urbanization consistently outpaced infrastructure provision during this era, leading to bugging deficits, especially in critical areas like housing, water, and sanitation within urban centers. Let's take a look at the democratic era. That is the period between 1999 to the present stage. Now, the return to democratic rule in 1999 ushered in a renewed focus on infrastructure development, bringing with it more systematic approach despite the significant challenges inherited from previous eras. A key aspect of this period has to do with the emphasis on reforms and privatization. Master plans emerged, and there was a renewed effort to modernize and expand infrastructure. We can see this in current construction works, the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Road, Lagos-Ibadan. Demographic and economic transformations over the coming decades. When you take a look at Nigerian population, which is projected to exceed 400 million by 2015, it simply tells us there is a need to intensify infrastructure needs. Not only that, another factor that comes into play is the issue of urbanization rate that is rising about 50%. And that means the only way we can accommodate these increases is through integrated, adaptive, and climate-smart solutions. And of course, also emphasis on digital infrastructure, green buildings, smart grids, and broadband connectivity. That is a summary. In other words, rethinking infrastructure tells us that if by 2050, we are expecting the population of Nigeria to exceed 400 million. Research, therefore, emphasizes that innovative infrastructure planning, adaptive design, and forward-looking construction methods are key enablers for Nigeria's future development trajectory. And this has been emphasized by the World Bank in the year 2021. Meanwhile, infrastructure development in Nigeria has traditionally been reactive, fragmented, and heavily reliant on fossil fuel revenues. However, with this growing urbanization, which is rising over 50%, it demands a strategic pivot towards integrated adaptive resident and climate-smart infrastructure systems. Current sustainable infrastructure trends include the which will definitely help to optimize land use and reduce commuting distance. In other words, it reduces congestion and enhances livability. Therefore, rethinking space in terms of planning is inevitable. anticipatory zoning, and flexible land use are increasingly becoming important considerations. Urban planners must integrate real-time data into city planning decisions, must integrate climate resistance, climate resilience into designs to mitigate issues like flooding and heat waves, phenomena that are becoming increasingly frequent due to climate change. Also, in planning, incorporating green infrastructure, such as urban parks and permeable pavements, can reduce urban hinterland effects and enhance community well-being. The issue of green infrastructure is an emerging, concept. In other words, and even within the GI system, there is also an emerging paradigm. GI, that is green infrastructure future, is expected to be smarter. It is a nature-inspired solution. And it's not just about adding green spaces in isolation, but rather creating networks of green spaces and natural features that function together to deliver a wide range of ecosystems. In other words, in summary, the primary goal of green infrastructure development is to integrate natural systems into built environment for enhanced ecological and social benefits. However, the future of green infrastructure development demands technological integration for more enhanced design, monitoring, and management of GI systems. You can go to the next slide. Obviously, there is a need for the convergence of innovative technology and ecological principles. We therefore pave way for the unlocking of new levels of performance in concepts such as green infrastructure development, and making it an even more compelling solution for sustainable development. Also, currently, if we are going to have effective planning that meets the needs of this present and inclusive of private sector participation, cross-sector and interdisciplinary collaboration. I think our day, when she was making her speech the other time, emphasized that the need for us to collaborate within the various disciplines. The era has come where the builder will think he knows all about construction materials. The era has gone where the architect will think he knows all about design. There are a lot of other things that will go into design. There are a lot of other things that will go into your construction materials. Today, I have a sister, my blood sister, a professor of chemical engineering. She is currently working on, she has got grants that have to do with using all these waste plastic bottles, right? Converting them to interlocking blocks, curbs, and so on and so forth to make blocks. Now, she is not a building technology profession. She is a chemical engineer, but she has delved into the utilization of bio wastes. So currently, in collaboration with some mechanical engineers, they are fabricating equipment. Now, will I now say because I'm a professor of building, I specialize in alternative construction materials, so I cannot collaborate with a chemical engineer? I think that's a very good example for us. Similarly, government also needs to collaborate with what? The private sector. Then there is a need for cross-sector also collaboration. Besides that, if we are going to build for growth, there is a need to build future-ready talents. That is future-ready education for the workforce of tomorrow. Our curriculum must change. There is a need for us to begin to put in the certain concepts that defines solutions to current challenges, so that the students who are going to be leaders in the nearest future, who are going to constitute the workforce for tomorrow, must also start what? Learning. They must also start getting, acquainted with the right theories, with the right principles that can ensure a very bright future for infrastructure growth in Nigeria. And of course, one of the very important concepts is adoption of buildability-led procurement approach. You know, when you talk about buildability, and I'm very happy, the one young man, right, that has actually done extensive work on buildability, Dr. Innocent is here. I want to really acknowledge his effort. And just this year, you know, builders have been talking about buildability, but he has been able to comprehensively put forward a buildability-led procurement model. In other words, we are talking about any integration of builders or constructors into the design stage. That is a missing gap. Unfortunately, I think we should make avail also of that paper, right? I cannot say much about that now because it's a lot and it's quite deep. So when you are talking about future, I remember there was a place where under this 10-month project, I had the opportunity of defending a proposal in Abuja recently. All the panelists, it has to do with issues that have to do with buildability. I was glad when they emphatically said, so, look, what you are bringing forward is a futuristic thing, something that we have in future. I said, exactly. And I said, that is where we must start now. If you are talking about the future must what? Must start now. So we have to change the way we are doing things. The old traditional methods is not going to work for the modern age. Now, so let me go to next slide. Part of what we need to do also in terms of building for growth is to expand not just megawatts, not just mega projects. Growth must measure success in lives that are improved, not just lines drawn on a plan. And number 8, it is about designing systems that heal rather than harm. If Singapore could imagine its future from almost nothing, imagine what we can do together in Nigeria with everything we have today. Let's not just build more, let us build better. Let us build with intention. Nigeria must move from infrastructure as repair to infrastructure as a platform for innovation, inclusion, and prosperity. Therefore, to build
is a successful professor who has also done well for himself in the area of politics, in practice, and this is indeed a great one for us. We appreciate you once again, sir. We thank you very much. There were a few things that I can say are take home for me. He mentioned that connectivity is the new electricity. You will agree with him. He also referred to the fact that collaboration is the new competition. As professionals, as young students, it's high time we adopted the concept of collaboration. We have a role to play because today technology has a role to play in infrastructural technology. He said it is high time we planned forward. It is high time we designed forward. It is high time we built forward. He said the only way to do that successfully is by adopting digital technology. And when we are talking about digital technology, young people like us have a role to play. We have a role to play because we are lucky to be in the generation where we have access to technological trainings, where we can now say we are experts in virtual reality, extended reality, data-driven technology that he mentioned in the course of his presentation. And indeed, we appreciate that. And young people like us, we are lucky to be part of infrastructural development. Thank you once again, sir. We appreciate you. While he was talking to us, we have some other persons that joined us in the course of the program. One of the people that joined us is Mrs. Lawal, who is representing registrar. Thank you very much, Mrs. Lawal. A round of applause for her. She is ably representing the registrar of this great university. Before we proceed to the next item on the program, which is most likely the vote of thanks, I will also invite my colleagues we needed to do a kind of, I want to evaluate whether some of us picked one or two things in the course of the presentation. So it's going to be, number one, we allow us to ask questions. We'll document the questions. If you can ask, you can either raise up your hand or write some few things in the paper. We'll send it across to our keynote speaker. I understand that while he was presenting, some of us who are students of engineering or architecture, when they mentioned that it's a professor of building structure, we were seeing different things. I'm sure some of you were seeing bending moment and shear forces. Of course, that is also part of the things that made it. But importantly, the essence of that keynote speech is to sensitize us, to see how far we have come in terms of infrastructural development in Nigeria, and to see how we can contribute, not just as professors seated here, not just as young lecturers, but as students, that we are all stakeholders in the infrastructural development, and we will not forget that. Thank you very much once again, sir. So, my Oga, it's time for us to ask questions. If you have any question, please do us a favor by sending it out. You can raise up your hand. We can allow you to ask it openly. So we are going to be taking the question. He said 3. So the fastest finger. You can ask your question. If you are written it somewhere, you can send it to us. And if you are okay, Professor Bayam.
Good afternoon, everybody. Prof, thank you very much for this thought-provoking, and we call it lecture. I was just jotting, because sometimes I always have a debate with my wife on this aspect. She happens to be in environmental science, and planning and housing. And sometimes I always think, I say, all these things I always talk about. I have never seen anything that you guys are doing. And that because, even yesterday night, on the phone, we still talk about it. Now, the question is this. Sir, with Nigerian population that we are seeing now, and the explosion, how can we plan cities that are livable, connected, and affordable? How can we plan cities that are livable, that are connected? Because most of these plans, everybody is just doing. You see planners, you just draw one thing there, and yet the people will still continue to build. And that's what I have to say.
and you call it infrastructure development. I told her, I think, madam, you are just joking here. That's number one. Number two, sir. This infrastructure development, especially Nigerian business, what is happening in our rural community, where my mother is still there? Is development, because development is now happening in most cities, but what about the village? What do you think the government can do? Thank you very much.
Another question, please. We are documenting the questions already, so we can answer all the questions together.
Thank you. Thank you, Prof, for the insightful delivery. I just want to write on what Professor Fayoni has said. Part of my concern is that the way and manner we develop buildings in Nigeria seems not to be sustainable. Everybody wants to build, everybody wants to build. And I think it will come to a time in which there might not even be spaces for people to say, I want to build. Now, my comment would be, or suggestion would be, why is it that we cannot have a model like we have in some Arab countries in which people will just buy flats, mini flats, you know, as you expand, you just buy those flats, 2 flats, 3 flats, as the case may be, depending on the size of your family, and you live, and maybe you pass it down to your offspring, rather than everybody opening up spaces and cutting down the green environment and all that. Thank you, sir.
leading when it comes to the economy. So, sir, please, can we shed light on this and see how we can move it forward.
Thank you, ma'am. I will be brief and then go straight to the point. Number one is that every change envisaged in any sector, in any aspect of life, let that change begins with you as an individual. We are talking about culture, maintenance culture. Let it begin with you, with me. Let me give you an example. I was telling somebody, when I was deputy governor, we visited the United States on an educational tour. And I told them, I said, how many of you can just take nylon paper, nylon sheet, whatever they call it now, and just drop it on the ground? Do you see anything like that around here? He said, no. I said, now, you dare not do that here. When you now go back to Nigeria, you are free to drop waste nylon anywhere. And I always tell those, my drivers and those who travel with me, I always say, when you finish with any, when you have any waste nylon to dispose, where we're traveling, put it inside something and put it inside the vehicle. When we get back to where we're going to dispose it properly, I must not see you throwing it through the window. Every change must begin with you, with me as an individual. So let's take note of that. Now, ma'am, a lot of the question you have raised about me being a pastor and a politician is quite relevant now. Because initially I wasn't a politician. I was a pastor, I was a builder, practicing, I was in academics and so on and so forth. That was all I was doing. But, you know, God works in a very wonderful way. And my father was actually a politician, my late dad. Then the then governor, because it's important you listen to this, the then governor was looking for somebody who would deputize him. Because in his first tenure, when he first came in as governor, he had to work with 3 deputy governors. You know the meaning of that. The first one was impeached, the second one resigned, and the third one, they fought. Before the administration was terminated by Obasanjo, they are talking about Fayose administration in the United States. So this time around, he said he didn't want that same trouble. He wanted somebody that he could work with, that would tolerate him. Somebody he could work with peacefully. And he was looking around and he came to my dad. My dad then was 82 years old in 2014. He came to my dad and said, Baba, you are a man of integrity. Because my dad was once a chairman of the party when he was in his first time as governor. He said, I knew you that you are a man of integrity. Baba, you are going to be my deputy. Before then, 10 people have applied for the position. He said he didn't want any one of them. And they were troubling him from the national headquarters, bring your deputy, it's already getting late. He took my dad to Abuja, and Abuja said, look, we cannot take this old man. We want to kill him. An 82-year-old man, come and deputize Fayose by a bad man. Bad man is good now. You know, they were just saying, you want to kill this man, then go back home, go and look for somebody. Now, I was coming from Covenant University. I was in Covenant University year 2012 to 2014. That was the period I also came in as a business senior lecturer in the bench here, assisting the Department of Building, Technology and Architecture, teaching some courses. And I was coming from, having spent 2 years, I was coming back, I branched in Ibadan and I met my mom. She came to see my younger sister. So, and I said, let me greet you, let me call your husband. I was thinking jokingly. I said, let me call your husband, that I am with you. He must have missed you, you know. We were just joking. And I called him. He took the call, we spoke. And 5 minutes after I ended the call, a call came in again from his line. And the voice I heard from the other end now was Governor Fayoshe's voice. The next thing they would tell me was, I didn't prepare, man. And I didn't apply. And my dad I never knew that my dad was invited to Abuja, because my dad knew us. Almost all of us are pastors in myself and my siblings. So, he said, I am Ayo Fayoshe, where are you? Can you see me tomorrow? Bring your credentials, bring your voter's card. I was one to kill a lady. What is the meaning of all this? And to cut the story short, it was later I now got to know about what was happening. I now asked my mother, what is happening? My mother said, he said, your dad was taken to Abuja to come and deputy governor, but he said she was here to get the report. It was the day after they came back from Abuja that my dad went to him to thank him for even considering him. And when I called, the phone was with my younger brother, the last one of the family. Now took the phone to him, said that the doctor wants to speak with you. And 5 days later, I said, Baba, are you sick? Doctor wants to speak with you. He said, no, he said, my son. He's a PhD holder, he's a doctor, he's a lecturer. You know, he said, Baba, you have a son who is a PhD holder. He knows you, lecturing. Bring your phone. He said, what is in you definitely will be your son. That was, to cut the story short, that was how it dawned in the coming. That was in April 2014, April 19, 2014. And election was June 21, 2014. I was only with them for 2 months, man. And I became the deputy governor elect, June 21. Without lobbying, without applying. Now, you see, when it depends on the way you get into that position. When I got in there, I was wondering, God, why bringing me down there? I was not part of it. But then, I now saw the reason why I had to be there. Number one, they said this man, nobody can work with him. But as a child of God, I believe I should be able to work with him. And I'm sorry to quote the Bible here. He says, when I said, God, what is the anchor? Why do you want me to go about this? He said, my son, go and read 1 Timothy 6:6. Godliness with contentment is a great thing. Say, go there, don't look for anything, go and do your service. And I went there. You know, they call you different names. They were deputy governor. Deputy governor that does not understand politics, and so on and so forth. But then, all that he committed into my hands, I broke records. The educational performance, I will always quote that performance of the secondary school because for years, the state have been crawling. And we were able to put in place certain policies. And I became the #1 commissioner for education. So we have the commissioner for education. I was monitoring every aspect of that education. There was no secondary school man that I didn't visit. Even the one that I have to drive under cocoa tree. I visited them, assessed their situations, and that changed the whole thing. And that takes me to the fact that one of the things I have learned while in politics, and I'm still there, I was not the choice of Mr. Governor for governorship in 2018. He had his choices. But virtually everybody around him came to say, look, if you want to win this election, the cabinet system is labor unions and so on and so forth. They came. If you want to win this election, it's your deputy that you must pick. Go for your deputy. And that was how I did. Without lobbying again, I became the gubernatorial candidate. But the rest, that happened, is Nigeria pattern. I lost by 90,000 votes. I know we knew that we didn't lose that election. But that was Nigeria pattern. But I believe that was the way God wants it to go. So what am I saying is this, man? How can we rectify our lack of planning? It's a two-way thing. We need leadership in this country. Right word, leadership. You can have very good ideas, but when policies and institutions are not strengthened, when right policies are not put in place and institutions are not strengthened properly, there is no way we can advance. I always tell you, don't run away from politics. Be part of who that will go, because when your vote matters, you may think it doesn't matter, it matters. I can tell you from experience. Leadership, very, very important. We are praying that God will give us the right word, leadership in this country. And it's something that has to do with, when you say lack of planning, how do we rectify lack of planning? I said there, that we have to plan with real world data. We must begin with actually putting in place the real data. Do we have the data? Sometimes you want to find information about, for example, now, how many contractors that are practicing in Nigeria, building contractors? Maybe Dr. Elusen can tell us. I know you will find it very difficult because we hardly be able to get to source that out correctly. Lack of planning data. So if we have the right people, if you have the right Minister of Works or Minister of Housing and Environment, if you understand what we are saying here, it can be an instrument that can put in place the right policies. Look at National Building Code. What is happening to it now? Look at the number of years it has taken them in the National Assembly. So these are some of the factors that we are talking about. But should we now because of it, become tired? No. We keep on telling them. And that is why also as academics, we must also have the right understanding. I said the right time, if I'm in the academics and I don't understand what building information modeling is, I don't understand what internet or things, how will I impart the right knowledge to the students? I have to upskill also. That is why continuous professional development is very important for all of us, so that we begin to do right thing. And that is why when I am involved in construction, you know, I did my PhD, I used laterite. And some people, when I was constructing my house in Ile-Ife, I told some people, I said, all this laterite I want to waste. I said, don't worry, just pack them for me. I said, I can tell you up to 25% replacement of sand with laterite will work. I don't need all that sand. I will use part of this laterite. I said, as long as for certain stress levels, these laterite beams and columns and lintels, whatever, will work. And I use part of the beams and columns I cast in my house in the Ile-Ife. It includes that is laterized concrete. I did my PhD on laterized concrete. And the building is standing today is not deteriorating. Because I understand that the level of stress for that level of building, that component, structural component, can do what? Can take it. So, cities that are affordable, livable, connected. I think, Prof, urban planners are in the best position to answer it. And I will tell you this. I was going through this, right? One of the reasons for this particular conference, for experts, I can't claim to be an urban and regional planner, but I have read some things here that are preferred solutions, right? If you look at what I was talking about, green infrastructure, it's not just about creating green spaces just in one place. We are talking about connect. Can you imagine if somebody tells you that this is a building, you can have a green roof, the green roof in one building can be connected to the green roof. There can be a belt of green space, even in the air, like that, connecting from one roof to another. Somebody will be wondering, it's possible, it is already in existence. So, cities, that is why today you have concept of smart cities, smart grids, everything is smart, right? It is technology, it is digital what? Technology. I said the connectivity, broadband connectivity today is the current, it should be our electricity. That is what we connect cities together. Then we also talk about infrastructural development in rural areas. Infrastructural development must not be limited to urban areas. The challenge in urban areas is the rapid urbanization when you talk about increase in population. You see, there is population explosion in the urban area compared to the rural areas. But that does not mean that some of the places we call rural areas in America, in some of these cities, are like our cities here. Some of the places we call rural areas are like some of our big so-called big cities here. So infrastructure development should not be limited to urban areas. But what we are saying is that the deficit is more evident within the urban areas because of the large population. So it's a concept that affects both rural and urban areas. Then, where is it that you can, okay, a model where, like the Arab station, where you can just buy experience out. You see, gradually we are learning lessons. Before, people are used as a pride of social status. They will build 3-story building, 2-story building with 20-something rooms. And by the time they are getting old, and the children, all the children have left, right? Most of the rooms have become abandoned, nobody to live there. In my own house in Ikere, I have a duplex. And I was telling somebody, I said, my room is still upstairs. I said, very soon, I have started learning to live downstairs. Right? Because anytime I'm not around, sometimes you say, but almost 3 rooms, nobody living there. All my children are not around. I mean, they are not living with me again. They are, and even if you, one of my children, Dr. Innocent Nosi, is in that same time, he's a lecturer in building, also like myself. But he had decided to have his own accommodation. That's why the fact that there are empty spaces in his father's world. So, economy will start teaching us that make sure you use what you can afford. As we are going to know that I don't need more than 2 rooms, maximum of 3 in case you have visitors. And that is the truth. But the understanding, those people over there have gotten that understanding, and I think they are getting there now. Because some of my colleagues now already having that understanding. They say, look, what do I need? Before you know it, they will go. Let us build something manageable that we can manage over the years. So we are getting there, sir. Right? I think I've answered all the questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, keynote speaker. It looks like the question and answer session almost became more interesting than the main presentation. I was head bound to my seat. It was so very powerful. In fact, I was almost tempted to say the way everybody is concentrating and you are going spiritual, maybe we should raise an offering here. I don't know how many of us I can, from the office of the GU, we can raise an offering. Thank you very, very much for that. I pray that we would move in prompt action like this presentation this afternoon has charged us. Please, I would want to plead with us that before we go for a tea break, if you look at our program schedule, we are actually supposed to be on a tea break and we are very behind time. We would quickly call on the registrar, who is heavily represented by Mrs. Awade. But before she comes to present the award or a plaque in appreciation for the wonderful lecture we have had this afternoon, I quickly want to recognize the presence of the director of JUPE, who is in our midst, Dr. Lawa. Please can we give her a round of applause? She is in our midst. And then we have also the Dean, College of Food and COFAS. Let me just call him COFAS, and the director of GATES, Professor Daramola, is also here. You are welcome. Please let's give him a round of applause. And I noticed the Dean of Center Affairs was here at the point too. I think she has stepped out. And then the director of advancement, Dr. Goshala, was also here. We appreciate your presence. Thank you very much. I'll quickly call on the registrar who would come to present the award or a plaque in appreciation of the lecture we have had this afternoon. And shortly after that, we will take the closing remarks from the Deputy Dean of the College of Environmental Sciences. We will take a group photograph and then we'll close this session. Just after the close of this session, we will have our tea break. After the tea break, we'll be back for the lead presenter, for the plenary session. The lead presenter will be joining us live from South Africa. We will be here exactly by 2 for that session. So without much ado, please join your hands together as we welcome the registrar, Bells University of Technology, for the presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the registrar, Mr. Ernest Afafon of the I want to really appreciate the keynote speaker, Professor Olapo Eleka. I want to thank you, sir, for your time and for your well-delivered lecture. We sincerely appreciate it. I would like to call on the Vice Chancellor, ably represented by Professor Akasi, to come and present to our keynote speaker, the award.
Thank you. I want to invite Professor Kolokwa Eleka for his beautiful gift from the College of Environmental Sciences. Bells University of Technology at Ogun State, Nigeria. College of Environmental Sciences presents Award of Excellence to Professor Kolapo Olushola Eleka, Professor of Building Structures, Department of Building, Osun State University of Osogbo, keynote speaker at the 2025 College of Environmental Sciences International Conference, CESIC 2025 theme, The Future of Infrastructure, Planning, Design and Building for Growth. Today, Tuesday, 8th July, 2025. Congratulations.
I like this picture. Prof, blessed art thou amongst women.
I would like the university librarian to present these gifts from the university.
On behalf of the Vice Chancellor and members of management, the College of Environmental Sciences, our students, make this presentation to you. We have Sales University of Slovenia in this bag, and I'm sure each time you use them, you remember Sales University of Technology, and you remember the value addition that we have from the presentation this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let me just, from the depth of my heart, appreciate the management of Best University of Technology. Well, I'm not surprised. Best University of Technology are known for excellence. And I've seen that, you know, I was talking about my friend, my brother, Dr. Innocent, the other time. He is a good ambassador of this university. When it comes to excellent publishing in very high impact journals, I think it's one good example. And I can see the reflection also in the other colleagues. I've read through publications of many of my colleagues here, and I was wondering that, wow, I think the university must have done something great in encouraging the academics here to be using out these highly ranked papers, publications. So I want to thank Mr. Vice Chancellor and his team, management team, for the honor they have done to me today. I want to assure you that I'm very much willing to collaborate with Best University of Technology anytime you call on me to do so. Thank you very much. And well, I will donate a sum of 100,000 naira before I go today. But I want to promise you, I'm going to talk to my friends also. I know this is not the last conference we are having. On leaving here, I'm going to talk to my friends, and definitely we'll do something much bigger. I promise you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think he deserves a warmer round of applause. Thank you very much. Please pardon me, we skipped something very important, and that is the declaration of the plenary session open, the closing of this session and the plenary session opened by the Vice Chancellor, after which the vote of thanks will be given by the Dean, Deputy Dean of College of Environmental Sciences, and then the group photograph. So please, it's my honor to welcome the Vice Chancellor, ably represented by the Dean of College of Natural Sciences, Professor Atashi, to declare the plenary session, the opening session closed, the opening ceremony closed, and the plenary session open. Please, a round of applause.
Thank you. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Udele Ojedina will declare this opening session closed. On the same note, we declare the plenary session open. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Let's put a round of applause as we welcome the Deputy Dean, College of Environmental Sciences, for the vote of thanks college for this session.
Thank you very much, Mr. Director. I'm going to be very brief because our time is fast spent. On behalf of the local organizing committee, the Dean, staff and students of College of Environmental Sciences, we want to express our profound appreciation to our keynote address speaker, Professor Olako Isola Eleka, His Excellency, the former Deputy Governor of the State, for his most insightful, inspiring, and thought-provoking address. There's no doubt in the fact that his words have laid solid intellectual foundation for this conference. And we are grateful for the depth and clarity of he has added to this gathering. We thank you very much, bro. And on the same day, we want to appreciate the management team, ably led by the Vice President, who is ably represented by Professor Violet Tassi. We thank you very much, ma'am, for coming. And I want to appreciate the registrar, Mr. Lamini Tafa, who is ably represented by Mrs. Henrietta Lawal. We thank you very much. And I want to also appreciate my dearest sister, the custodian of the University Intellectual Powerhouse, Dr. Felicia Yusuf. Thank you very much. And to the bossa, Mr. Shina Adekoju. And I want to bring back our discussion years back that academic is waiting for you. Please note that. Thank you very much. And to the dean here present, my very good friend, Professor Fayomi, we thank you sincerely for coming. And I also want to appreciate Professor Sumiwa in absentia. I think he has left. Please let me acknowledge that Professor Sumiwa was part of my exam panel for my master's and PhD. So he has been my mentor all this while. So I want to thank him sincerely. I can see Professor Daramola, thank you very much for coming. And to the deans, other deans, HODs, and the university community, we say thank you. Thank you, and thank you.
Thank you very much. And we will take the belt anthem only because of our time and also because the keynote speaker laid so much emphasis on Bell's anthem. Probably some of us have not taken time to look at the words of our Bell's anthem. So we're going to use the Bell's anthem as our closing session anthem, not the Nigerian anthem. Please, we want to appreciate them, of course, for coming. Can we please rise as we take Bell's anthem? Thank you very, very much. We will have the special guest from the High Table walk out first to where they will take the group photograph. While the others here will walk to the tea table where we'll have our tea break. Just after collecting your tea break, please come back here so we can prepare for the next session, which commences by exactly 2 p.m. Please, let's have the High Table walk out first. You may not have noticed. Okay, please, participants are also expected to be there once they proceed out. The participants are also expected to be there to take the photograph with them. Please, the tea break is meant for those that have the ticket. So if you have the ticket, you can quickly go there. If you don't have the ticket for tea break, you can get the ticket counter. You can just get there and get yourself something. We are appreciating you for your patience with us. It's been a wonderful time this afternoon. In case you do not know us, my name is Godwin Omega Ode from Surveying and Mathematics Department, and
you are from Architecture Department.
Thank you very much for this wonderful opening ceremony. It promises to be very, very rich panel discussions in the afternoon. So just immediately after your tea break, please just come over here for the first presentation by Professor Awuzie from South Africa.
Thank you. Thank you.